urgent Atlanta Falcons fans. Do not miss this. What just happened? You won't believe this one. But before we reveal the big news, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because here, we bring you daily videos with the latest Atlanta Falcons updates. And to not miss anything, activate the notifications. Alright, folks, let's dive into something that's been buzzing around the NFL community, especially among Falcons fans and those who love a good offseason scoop. You know, every year, as the calendar flips to late summer, the NFL landscape starts to shift, rumors start to swirl, and fans get hyped for what the upcoming season might bring. This year, one of the most intriguing stories involves the Atlanta Falcons, a team that's been on the rise, looking to prove themselves after a solid 2023 campaign, and now, there's a new angle that's got everyone talking, especially with the possibility of a blockbuster trade involving one of their key players, Kyle Pitts. Now, before I get into the details, let's set the stage a little bit. The Falcons, under head coach Arthur Smith, have been steadily building a competitive roster, blending young talent with seasoned veterans. Last year, we saw a team that was resilient, with a strong running game led by Bijan Robinson, who, let's be honest, was a revelation in his rookie season, and a defense that's been steadily improving. But one of the biggest questions that still lingers is whether Atlanta can unlock the full potential of their offensive weapons, especially tight end Kyle Pitts. And I know, for Falcons fans, Pitts is a player you're eager to see thrive, given his incredible athleticism, his size, and the fact that he was a top 5 pick just a few years ago. But, as many of you know, Kyle Pitts has yet to live up to that lofty draft status. He's been somewhat hampered by inconsistent quarterback play, first with Marcus Mariota, then Desmond Ridder, and, honestly, the offensive instability has held him back from reaching those superstar heights many of us expected when he was drafted. Still, there's hope. The Falcons are optimistic that rookie quarterback Michael Penix Jr., who's been turning heads in training camp, might be the key to unlocking Pitts' full potential. Penix, coming out of Indiana, has a reputation for being a sharp, accurate passer, and if he can bring some stability to Atlanta's passing game, Pitts could finally become that matchup nightmare he's capable of being. Now, shifting gears for a moment, because this is where things get really interesting, and I mean, really juicy. There's been some buzz among NFL insiders and fans alike about the possibility of a trade that could shake up the entire NFC South. And no, I'm not talking about a trade involving the Falcons directly, but rather a scenario that's been floating around about the Dallas Cowboys and their tight end situation. You see, the Cowboys, who've been quietly rebuilding and reshaping their roster, have some intriguing pieces but still have some questions to answer. Their biggest concern right now? The contract extension of their star linebacker, Micah Parsons. Fans are eager for a resolution because Parsons is the heartbeat of that defense. His explosiveness, versatility, and leadership are unmatched, and everyone wants to see him locked in long-term. But what's really caught everyone's attention is a social media post from none other than Micah Parsons' brother, Terrence Parsons, who suggested that Dallas should trade a second-round pick for Kyle Pitts. Now, I know what you're thinking, hold on, are the Cowboys actually considering this? Well, the truth is, this idea is more of a fan-driven rumor than a serious front office move at this point. Still, it's fascinating to analyze because Pitts, despite not meeting expectations so far, possesses a rare blend of size, speed, and athleticism that's hard to find. Imagine him in a Dallas offense that's been evolving, especially with quarterback Dak Prescott returning healthier and more confident. But let's be real here, such a trade seems unlikely right now. Pitts, a former number 4 overall pick, has struggled with consistency, partly because of the quarterback instability in Atlanta, but also because the Falcons have been cautious with their star tight end. They see his talent and know he can be a game-changer, but they also understand that forcing a trade or rushing him into a bigger role might do more harm than good. Atlanta's coaching staff and front office are confident that with a more stable quarterback situation, and with the right development, which they believe Penix can provide, Pitts will finally start to showcase the kind of production that made him a top draft pick. Meanwhile, the Cowboys, on their side, have been quite content with Jake Ferguson, their current starting tight end. Ferguson had a decent season last year, but his numbers dipped from 761 yards in 2023 to just 494 in 2024. Still, the coaching staff believes Ferguson has more to give, especially with Prescott's return to full health. The Cowboys are looking for stability, not necessarily blockbuster trades, and they're betting on Ferguson's potential to rebound in a system that's evolving under offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer. So, why does this Pitts-Dallas trade scenario keep popping up? Well, it's all about the potential. Pitts, with his exceptional athletic profile, could be a perfect fit in Dallas's offense if he's paired with a quarterback who can consistently deliver the ball in tight windows. It's this kind of upside that makes fans dream of what could be, especially when considering how the Cowboys have been focusing on building a versatile, explosive offense. But, as I mentioned, the NFL is a league of patience and strategy. The Cowboys front office, led by Jerry Jones, has already made moves to improve the team, most notably with the addition of George Pickens in the offseason, who's expected to bolster their wide receiver core. And speaking of the Falcons, it's worth highlighting how far this team has come in recent years. After a disappointing 2022 season, many thought the Falcons might be in for a rebuild, but instead, they opted for a strategic retool. They've added key pieces like Bijan Robinson, who's already become a fan favorite, and drafted promising young players like safety Bijan Robinson, linebacker Dre Greenlaw, and wide receiver Kyries Jackson, all of whom are expected to contribute significantly in 2024. Their defense, which was a focus area last year, has shown marked improvement, thanks in part to the addition of pass rushers and secondary help. But at the core of all this, what really excites Falcon fans is the potential for growth on offense. Kyle Pitts, despite the ups and downs, remains a central figure in that plan. His size and athleticism give him a matchup nightmare for defenses, and if Penix Jr. can develop that chemistry quickly, we might see Pitts finally become that dominant tight end that the Falcons envisioned when they drafted him. And let's not forget, the Falcons also have a talented running game led by Bijan Robinson and Tyler Allgeier, which takes pressure off the passing attack and keeps defenses honest. The offensive line has been solid, and with the addition of some new depth in the draft, the unit is poised to give Ridder and Penix enough protection to make plays. Now, looking at the bigger picture, both Atlanta and Dallas are in interesting phases of their respective rebuilds or retooling efforts. The Falcons, under Arthur Smith, are aiming to make the playoffs again, and they believe that with the right pieces, especially on offense, they can take a step forward into genuine contention. Their defense has been improving, and with young stars emerging, they are building a team that can compete with anyone in the NFC. The Cowboys, on the other hand, are trying to balance the window of Dak Prescott's prime with the need to develop young talent. They've been aggressive in free agency and the draft, trying to craft an offense that's both explosive and consistent. And, of course, the offseason chatter about trades, contracts, and roster moves is just part of the fun. But it's important to remember that football is a game of patience, strategy, and timing. The idea of a Pitts trade to Dallas is entertaining, but right now, it's more of a fan fantasy than a real plan. The Falcons are focused on their current roster, developing their young players, and making a playoff push. Meanwhile, the Cowboys are investing in continuity, confidence in Ferguson, and hoping that Prescott can stay healthy and lead a balanced attack. As training camp approaches, all eyes will be on how these storylines develop. Will Atlanta finally unlock Pitt's potential? Can Dallas find consistency at tight end without making a splash trade? These are questions that only time will answer. But one thing's for sure, fans of both teams should stay tuned because the NFL offseason is full of surprises, and the 2024 season promises to be one of the most exciting yet. And now, Atlanta Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on all these rumors? Do you think Pitts could thrive in Dallas if he were traded? Or are you confident he's about to break out in Atlanta? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Falcons. Remember, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Atlanta Falcons news. Thanks for watching, and let's get ready for an incredible season ahead.